But y'all, about the R. Kelly situation where he was up there talking about he's scared for his life. And I remember we was talking about that shit. He's scared
He
for his
probably
life.
is.
He's upset about the medical care he is not or is receiving up there.
You ain't gonna
Now,
get
this
the
is
best top
about
care. He's not gonna. You're not gonna get that celebrity care like you thought you. No.
that's what I
You not
said.
gonna
He
get
ain't
that
Martha
treatment.
Stewart. He ain't Martha. You ain't about to you
You
ain't
ain't
about
no
to get no
club
celebrity
thug.
care.
You finna get the basic, and I mean they barely
He
give you
get
an
less than
aspirin up in that
Medicaid.
bitch.
Medicaid recipients get better care than this motherfucker.
Right.
That's how it is in the prison
I'm
though.
telling you, I got an ex that was in the feds, and he caught COVID and then had kidney cancer. He had to have a kidney removed while he was in prison. They was like, okay, you still ain't getting out early.
I know. Well, this motherfucker, you know how some people they trying to get out, trying to get out. Now, this we just heard about this phone call like a week or so ago, right? Then all of a sudden, it's all over the news trending that R. Kelly just about to get over $560 some thousand of royalty money from labels. Now, ain't that a coincidence?
Hell, he should. Why should he not?
I
I
mean,
ain't saying he shouldn't. I'm saying I'm sure he knew that shit was coming.
but you know what I say though?
That shit is in the truck. They ain't getting
They
shit.
they have those laws. Well, I don't know. I don't know how that works
I hope it's in
because
the trust.
They ain't getting shit.
I
It's in the
don't know
truck.
what is
I
Oh,
in,
if
think
it's in
but
the
I
trust,
do
then they ain't
know.
getting
that
shit.
money finna go to his ex-wife for them kids for that back child support.
Oh, that ain't what they said,
Oh,
child.
No,
yes,
if
it
they
will.
put basic, they putting it in the trust. So if
They
they put it in the
said,
trust, he
Ain't
ain't
nobody
getting
getting
shit.
shit.
And
from what
then
I read, they
I
said,
wonder if his victims get any of it.
Hell
from what
no.
I read, they said, listen, y'all, they said that he owes when he had got found guilty and all that whoop whoop whoop. They said that he was being fined like $500 some thousand for the victims. So
Man, fuck all that. I can't even get a judge evicted.
they saying they said that monies is
I'm
going to be for the victims.
See,
And they said they don't know how much other royalties he get. They said, of course, it depends. You know, royalties depends on who buying your shit, who downloading, who uploading, who, you know what I mean? And so they can't say like if he gonna get this much money again later or how much it'll be. But for right now, it just seemed like a coincidence. Like he really, really cried from the jail, making phone calls and all kind of shit. Uh, pleading, just pleading.
a human being.
Somebody to
this
give a
is a
fuck
fire
about
truck
his
just
medical
driving
care
around.
here. Because I know he knew about that money and he probably trying to really get out so he can get a hold to that money and then not go to somebody else because that motherfucker ain't got shit.
And most people was happy about that shit, and that ain't even cool. But
Happy about which part?
we got a judge down here in Texas right now that was head of a fucking trafficking sex ring, but we don't hear shit
Hold on,
about
most
that.
people happy about which part?
Kill doing extra suffering, but hell, hold on. Let me tell you this though, real quick, because this I love my brother, no doubt, but he wrong is wrong and right is right. But peep
Right.
this out. I bet y'all don't know about
Yeah,
this.
wrong is wrong.
No, but peep this out though. Don't ain't nobody saying shit about this funky ass doggone sheriff down here that's been in 3 to 4 fucking damn counties that's in between where I'm at, less than an hour away, hour and a half away, who've over the years, he finally eventually got his monkey ass caught up because he was fucking a doggone me minor. On top of that, they had this son of a bitch in all them different counties. He was specifically trained in crisis situations where children were getting abused and women getting all that. And his motherfucker was over here raping and molesting the underage motherfucking goddamn victims of the same goddamn crime that they was already dealing with. This really? But they don't say shit. They gave that motherfucker
There's a
25 to
lot of
life.
people out here who ain't getting
They gave him 25 to life.
There's a lot of people out here who deserve to be under the jail.
R. Kelly didn't get life. They gave him 25 to life.
This motherfucker. It's a
25
lot
to
of
life.
people.
But how is the hell that he can go to three to four different counties in the biggest state in the dock? As far as I'm supposed to, stars and bright, big at night, deep in the heart of Texas. How the hell can he go to damn the 3 to 4 different damn counties to do the same shit?
Because even if he get fired, if he still got his license, he can still go.
That's the
If
same
they
way
He ain't
they
going nowhere else for the next 25 years, sis. To life, he's done.
That's
No,
how
but I'm
they
saying
do
that's how he was able to do that. If he
that's
got
the
fired
same
from
thing they
one,
do
if he
with
got fired
priests.
from one sheriff department, he can go. That's why when these cops get arrested and stuff, that's why people say take their license from them
Yeah,
because
cops,
they can get fired
priests,
from here. They can somebody
teachers.
can get fired from Omaha police and go out to La Vista and still work.
It's amazing. Like the priest, like that was a big thing. I don't know if they ever changed it, but yeah, y'all know how the priests they would do something to some kids. They want
Yeah,
to
they
keep it
move
in
into
house, and
another
then the
another
priest would go
parish.
somewhere else to another parish or something, go to another church or whatever.
We allowing that shit.
The same thing with cops, they would go to another precinct. Same thing with teachers, they would go to another school district. Like I don't know what it's gonna take for them to when they do some shit like that, stop them dead in their tracks.
My generation
They
wasn't
have to
fucking.
work at motherfucking McDonald's for the rest of
My
their life.
generation wasn't fucking their teachers like the teachers fucking them now.
If they was fucking their teachers, didn't hear about it.
Especially the old ones with the class. Because most of our teachers had class.
That's why you fail. I'm
Actually,
sorry.
we didn't really have too many. I don't know as far as male teachers, at least not around
I knew
Northwest.
some. I call that day out. He went out to Boys Town. Everybody know about D Brown. Everybody know about Coach D Brown. I think he dead too.
Only teacher that was actually cute and that was in middle school was Mr. Goolsby, and that was a tall ass white man.
Oh, Goolsby.
I couldn't say none of my teachers was.
Exactly.
But y'all wasn't
I actually, you know what? I take that back. In third grade, Mr. Peterson. When I came back to public school, Mr. Peterson. I thought he was a cute white man.
He became a principal with that hole in his natural.
I don't know.
Because if he became a principal,
I know he was a teacher at Saratoga at the time.
That if you talking about the one that was our principal in Wakanda back in the day, that motherfucker had a head like what's that man's name from
no,
Shark Tank?
I think I know who you talking about, and I did not.
What's that man's name?
He was there my first year up at Wakanda, and I did not like.
Oh yeah, so you know Mr. P, huh?
I did not like. Me and him did not get along.
He said you one of them roguish ass Kirksey girls. I got something for your ass.
And that's all right. And I showed my ass with him every day. And still kept my job.
I call her ass trouble in the land.
Exactly. Did your family go up there?
Yep. No, I ain't even bother them with that.
She was just that hard. I'm telling you, that nigga was broken since we was first, say, third grade. I'm trying to tell you, the original gangsterist of the Omaha Public School District. Showing up. And we ain't gonna talk about the jump out queen. We ain't gonna talk about the I ain't gonna say no names, but the jump out queen, aka Taz. I mean, my bad. What's her name? I'm trying to remember this.
First of all, back to R. Kelly. Okay, so R. Kelly is set to have a 6-figure check for royalties seized as part of prosecutors' attempt to collect on money owed to his victims, according to court documents. Out of the $500,000 that is due to the victim, so far only $27,000 has been collected from Kells. So again, that money is $567,444.19 from music publishing royalties is about to go to the victims. I ain't think about that damn child support he owed them damn kids.
About that $1 million that they put on your Social Security card after the
Shit. That nigga was trying to get out of jail. They trying to kill me in here.
I mean, they could. I mean, you think about it though. I mean, which to me, honestly, I know how I would feel. It would kind of be like really fucked up because is it really worth? Well, then again, take that back. Certain crimes or penalties are worth death. Certain crimes are worth a death penalty. Certain. And he's no exemption for that. If that was the case, then instead of just dragging him on down a little bitty, what you call it, rabbit hole, Alice in the Wonderland rabbit hole shit, Well, if that's the case, then why we just didn't go ahead and give him an early demise and get
But
it done over with?
there is people in jail every day who ain't getting proper care because he's
What I'm
a
saying is that if he's been
celebrity.
doing this shit,
Because he's a celebrity, he just think he's supposed to get special
What
treatment.
care is he trying to get? What does he need?
Well, okay, because he had hurt his leg and he had like blood clots and all kind of things going on.
Get a nigga aspirin. That's a blood thinner.
And he, okay, listen.
what if he was in another
country? Okay, my thing is this.
I'm just saying.
I understand that they don't get like maybe the best care in jail. I also understand that if I go to jail today, you ain't got to tell me what to expect. I know the food is trash. I know people fight you. They try to kill you. I know the guards do things to you. I know you don't get the proper medical care. I know. I mean, it's
you don't get the proper shit.
There's so many things that can go wrong in jail. It's not.
If I was in guards, I walk past this cell every day. Now you tripped in the cell, right?
It's not a fairy tale. And that's one thing I've always told my sons when they was coming up. I said, if y'all do this, that, and that, and then y'all end up going to prison and somebody bust y'all new asshole, don't call me crying. I made sure I kept it real straight with my boys.
I tell mine all the time. You do the crime, you doing the time. You did it by yourself, you doing the time by yourself.
Y'all think this shit in these movies is like fake or something? Like this shit happens in jail.
What if I fucked up and I want to learn my lesson?
But there are what lesson do you think this motherfucker learned?
Who?
R. Kelly.
R. Kelly?
No, he was saying, bro was saying in general. I get what you're saying.
Because that motherfucker didn't learn no lessons. Like I said, you left that asshole out today, and he gonna be at McDonald's tomorrow. Just like he was at McDonald's when he got out of jail that one time when he got bonded out. Where did he go to throw it up in people's face? He went straight to McDonald's and ordered him a Big Mac, a layer fish, quarter pounder French fry, icicle milkshake sundae, and a motherfucking apple pie.
Well, shit, he didn't have that shit.
Once again, I still got Chester Molester that lives less than 2 blocks from me.
Okay, well, turn his ass in then.
Oh, why did he turn him in? He's already on the list.
His ass in then.
But no, what I want to do to him, they will prosecute me for it. So that I don't all that turning in, that ain't gonna do shit. He's already registered.
I'm sorry. It's hard for me to compare somebody who's been doing this for over 30 years. And even married.
Sexual assault, whether it was 30 years or 3 minutes.
And even
but you know what?
A little kid.
I blame society. I blame society.
Exactly.
And you know what? Because think about it. And let's I mean, for real, let's break this shit down. Because I mean, if we're gonna break it down, let's break it down. R. Kelly been telling us from day motherfucking one what he was doing in his music.
You got a point.
Talking about things like you ready, and then he gonna produce Aaliyah's album Age Ain't Nothing But a Number, and then he hiding around the corner peeking at her on the cover.
And then he married kids, got them on his tour buses. Like you.
I mean,
he on tour buses, touring around the world, having sex with kids on your tour bus. I mean, like.
And then, do you ever remember on the Bump and Grind remix? Remember he was like, I like them 18 and older or 16 and younger.
Yep. And when they asked him, what age do you think? What he was like, well, what was that question they asked him, Karma Diva?
He said, "Do you like teenage girls?" He's like, when you say teenage, what you mean teenage? How old?
Age you talking about?
Can I ask a question?
Like teenage, meaning under 20. Anything under 20.
And he didn't answer, did he?
Is he the worst that ever did his crime? I was just wanting to know. That's all. I'm just asking for a friend.
Is he the one that what?
I said the crime that he's been convicted of, is he the worst one to ever commit that?
Well, who else do you know that has been?
But they making an example of him because, and then see, and my problem with it is he's not the first person.
No,
he's not the first person to do this. This has been going on in the music business since music has been going on.
He ain't the first, and he probably ain't gonna be the last.
But they trying to make an example of him. That's all they did. They made an example, just like think about it. Jerry Lee Lewis married his 13-year-old fucking cousin.
But you know what? They not only are they
Uh,
trying to make an example out of
they
him,
put, but then they put Chuck Berry in prison for screwing white girls. But that's because
but
he violated the Mann Act and carried her across the state
Well, I was
line,
just
even though
asking.
she lied.
But you know what? Not only are they maybe trying to make an example out of him, but how would they make an example out of him if it wasn't people all throughout the community pushing it?
Well,
So
Exactly.
when you compare him and say, well, what about the nigga down the street? Or what about this dude? Or what about that dude? It takes more than police sometimes for people to get convicted for those type of crimes. You can say, well, what about this person? What about that person? But if it ain't a whole lot of people behind it and pressuring them people, because he wouldn't be in jail right now if it wasn't for the Lifetime series, if it wasn't for all these people speaking to all these in
Talking
these
about mute R.
if it
Kelly.
wasn't for, I mean, he would still be out here right now.
Y'all honestly believe that man would be out here still committing those type of things?
He was doing it when he got arrested. What did they find in his homes, bro?
I don't know what they find. What did they find in his home? That's
Yeah, what did they find?
Well,
I'm just asking. I honestly don't. I didn't heard so much about Kelly did this is dick, and piss. So I don't know what the hell they found.
Besides that infamous video,
they found footage. Not
what
only,
I mean,
go ahead.
and he was in those charges. He was acquitted of those.
But that's okay. So y'all,
That's all I was
ain't
asking. I don't know.
Y'all ain't really been following, okay?
No, I've been following, but not like that.
Okay, let me answer the question though. He had
go ahead.
He had video footage of a whole bunch of underage people that he done slept with over the years up until the time he got arrested this time around 5-6 years ago.
Oh, well, I mean, if they, okay.
Like, you still fucking little kids and you still recording that shit.
Well, if he did that, if he honestly, no, I'm just saying, if he honestly did that, then yeah.
They took out bags and duffel bags and suitcases full of motherfuckers.
Yeah, okay, well, that's not cool. That's what I'm saying. That, well, yeah, certain things, yeah, he deserved that. If that's what he has to deal with, his punishment. What I'm saying is that if that's his punishment, sis, if that's his punishment, won't everybody just let that linger as his punishment? Because, I mean, eventually they're going to get anything that he gets, even if they don't get it now, the lawyers are tied up to a point to where even after he's dead and gone, that his assets will be forfeited.
Minimize what he did as if I get the fact that everybody knows somebody who's done something to a child. Some people really believe that they don't know nobody or there's nobody in their family. There's some people who even believe that shit.
And everybody got a cousin Robert or Aunt Lucy that you keep the kids away from you.
It's somebody, every family, black, white, Puerto Rican, Asian, Chinese, African. I mean, hell, in Africa, in some places, the men got to sleep with the little girls, the husbands, before they even sell them off to somebody. Like, I mean, they got to get them ready. They want to bust that flower. They want to deflower them and tell them it's out of love, before somebody else.
That's their tribal tradition.
So in certain situations where this shit goes on in all different nationalities. So I'm not saying that if there's somebody else who deserves to be in jail, they shouldn't be in jail. But sometimes it takes a lot of effort to get certain people in jail. And for us not to say that this man was a monster.
No, I'm not gonna say that neither.
I agree. When people call him a monster, he will still be doing this shit to the day he died. I believe that.
Well, here's the thing with me.
Honestly, and flying people around and having his entourage stopping little girls in concerts and picking little girls up from McDonald's. I believe he will still be doing that.
What I'm saying is this. He shouldn't be the only one who enabled him to do that.
Okay, and see his manager was one. His manager admitted he used to go to malls and get the girls for him, and because he turned against it, because he testified against him, he didn't get charged.
But you know what, bro? Not only his entourage,
and I
his
say the
wife,
same thing about his
what's that
ex-wife,
wife's name again? What's her name again?
Andrea. I
Okay,
said that bitch, and that's I have said from the beginning. That bitch was not a victim; she was a volunteer until they started handing down them indictments, and then it was like, oh, let me be a victim because I'm not going to go to jail with him.
The niggas get to talking. All the niggas was involved.
Not only them, but we talking managers, we talking about lawyers, we talking about even other celebrities.
He the only one taking the heat.
We talking about other celebrities. Like, do you know how many celebrities have said they came to his house and saw little girls running around the house, little girls locked up in rooms?
Right. And so why the fuck didn't they say something?
And they turned the eye. Celebrities
made millions off of them songs.
So a lot of people should be locked up right next to his ass.
But they made millions off and then pulled their catalog. They know what they did.
They made their money.
That's the only thing I'm saying. I'm saying don't put unjustifiable actions with a justifiable consequence. If by nature will correct itself. Honestly, with okay, I ain't gonna say if Kels did it. Okay, that's what everybody will say. Okay, Kels did it, right? Okay, he did it. So what he did was his actions and his repercussions and consequences is for his actions. So since he was pissing on little girls and fingering little boys' booty holes and doing all that old nasty, freaky, sadistic, all this other stuff, since he was doing all this extra shit, right? Once again, why is it that he's the only one
that is
being prosecuted? And I'm not talking about just his managers. I'm talking about the police and detectives.
I don't understand. Like that one police officer who didn't take that girl's ID. I mean, it's a lot of people.
That's because he was involved too, because he was getting his tea bag.
Bro, I always said from day one.
They all fucking guilty, man. Even
because I remember hearing interviews from back in the day when they would say she was involved with sleeping with them too and this and that. So how you going all of a sudden you don't know nothing?
Always.
But everybody knows something about that man. If everybody, and I don't want to interrupt. I want to enjoy this with y'all, this conversation. But on the strength of those, everybody that had any knowledge, everybody or anybody that has crossed that man's path and have witnessed it, anybody and everybody that has accepted that, oh, that's what he was doing, but didn't want to say, oh, yep, I knew it. They are just as equally guilty.
But you know what?
Because I'm telling you,
this time I really thought like, okay, with Aaliyah now, everybody knew he was fucking her when she was like 15 years old.
Well, I didn't know how old she was. I could have sworn that nigga was about our age. I thought that nigga might have been maybe a few years older than we was. Like I thought.
No, that nigga was damn near 25. But
no, he was 27.
Everybody knew. Everybody in his camp, everybody knew. And they didn't do anything. They arrested him. They charged him with the little girl in 2008. Everybody knew. They didn't arrest nobody.
And where was her uncle? Where was Aaliyah's uncle? I said, where was her uncle? He was the one that introduced him.
Hold on. Let me finish.
Where was her mom and daddy at?
Let me finish my comment, please. When they arrested him again, the second, third, whatever time, the last time, I just knew that they were going to get a whole bunch of people because with Aaliyah, nobody said anything. In 2008, he got off because the parents wouldn't let her testify. And everybody knew. This time around, when it happened in 2017, I just knew that they would get a whole bunch of other people from the camp, managers, whatever, maids, cooks, chefs, chauffeurs. I just knew that he would not be the only one going down. And
there's an interview with a housekeeper of his nutritionist. She said she was there every day. And you know how Andrea talking about she didn't have no money and Robert controlled the money. And she said no. She said Drea was there and that little girl was there. And she said Drea told her that was her goddaughter. Sparkle's niece. She told the nutritionist, Sparkle's niece, was her goddaughter. And she said she needed some money to go to the store to get something for their diet. And Drea opened her purse up credit cards, and she said it had to be about $500-600 in $100 bills in her purse. And she handed her like $200-300. So here you go.
Yep.
So that's how I know that bitch is alive.
Yeah, and then the other time she would say she didn't hear or see anything. Like people were saying,
yeah,
he had all these rooms, that big ass house, and he had different girls in different rooms, and you didn't hear anything.
You're talking about people knocking and stomping and shit, and see, and that's why I say this. I know there are victims. I know there are. Just like with Bill Cosby. Just like, they tried to do with Tiger Woods, but Tiger's was all consensual. But anyway, all these motherfuckers just came out of the woodwork at the same time. I don't want to I don't believe everybody's story. I just say that. I just don't believe everybody's story.
Well, not all of them came out the woodwork at the same time. They might have did like the Lifetime story together because it was a TV show, but a lot of them came out at different times. If you go back and you really do the timeline and do the history on each victim, they didn't just all pop up. Oh, he raped me too. I mean,
okay, and it's two of them I think are, when I say stupid as fuck, and I'm saying this is me. You can put the disclaimer up. I don't give a shit. But the two I think is stupid as fuck is that Miss Kitty, who was 33 years old, bitch, you done quit your job, left your kids, and moved to Chicago with this nigga.
Speak on it.
That was crazy.
And then the little girl, Geronda Page.
Yeah.
She met him at his trial.
I know.
In 08.
That's because he put that mule on her ass.
Thought he was innocent too, but she was a kid. She was a kid, but she really thought he was innocent.
Okay, but she needed a mama to slap her.
Girl, you saw the story. Her mama was like, she was one of those kids who could get out of school, who could skip school. She would lie to her mom, say I'm here, say I'm there. I mean, I can't fault the mama. Hell, I did that shit when I was younger. There was plenty of times I told my mama I was here and I was really there.
Shit, not my parents. My parents, even though they was at Campbell Soup, they still knew what the fuck I was doing.
I mean, you just one of them random ones. But everybody was doing that shit, skipping school at somebody's house, at their nigga house, and they supposed to be here, spend a night here.
I didn't want to skip school. Why? All my friends was at school. Why the fuck I'm gonna be at home by myself?
People, that's why I said you one of the there's always one. Okay. But a lot of people did that shit. It wasn't like uncommon for people to lie to their parents and say they was somewhere where they're not. I mean,
no, I get that, but I mean, at what point does personal accountability come in? Yes, he was the adult. He was wrong across the board.
Yeah, he ain't shit for that. That nigga ain't shit for that. Real talk. If he does, honestly,
right. Across the board, he was wrong for that. Period.
Right.
But where does personal accountability come in?
You can say a lot of parents should have probably been more accountable for their children, but there is no excuse when it comes to a grown ass man sleeping with a kid. I'm not putting no accountability.
He wrong across the board.
Accountability for his own actions. Now you can blame.
But these fast ass little girls need to take accountability too.
You can blame.
Because they out there waving their asses in these men faces, and then shit happen, and then they want to get upset.
But who's the grown up? That's what it all comes down to.
Nah.
That shit ain't gonna never hold up in court. Oh, well, these little girls knew better. They knew they shouldn't be fucking no 25, 30, 35 years.
So her mama didn't tell her
come down to the man, to the grown up, the woman, or the man.
Yeah, he ain't shit for that. He's not shit for that. Hell no.
I mean, we can blame the kids. I mean, hell, I know people who was in relationships with people who was older than them. It was like a thing back in the day. Who had the coolest older boyfriend with the best whip, the best cars, all crib? I mean, that was like a thing to some people back in the day. But when it all boils down to it, who's the grown up? I mean, that's where all the majority of the blame has to lie. They're grown.
Now,
They know
I'll
right.
say this.
They know they can go to prison.
As far as I know, there was only 2 or 3 that was real young, which is still fucked up. But the rest of them, 16, 17,
Yeah, most of them
they knew what the fuck they was doing.
Exactly.
Most of them was 15 or 16. Most of them. Yeah.
They knew what the fuck they were doing.
It don't matter though. It don't matter.
It do not.
It comes down to the grown up. That's what.
If you can tell the world, what I'm saying is that if, especially a minor or whatever, if you can describe the anatomy of no matter if they're famous or unknown homeless man on the corner from Timbuktu, if you can say or speak on anything about their anatomy and all the measurements add up, then of course you're gonna get caught up.
And if any girl, like bro, if a girl came up to you today and she's 15 and just shake it all up in your face and your ass and just damn near try to put it on a platter,
I'm a bat the piss out of her.
And you did it. I'm just saying. But you
I'm a bat the piss out of her.
I'm just saying, if you took the bait, you can't go to jail and say, but she knew what she was doing. She knew I was too old.
Even then, at that age, sis, I didn't. No, I know.
The responsibility lies with the grown up.
I'm not doing it. For one, I'm not going to even entertain myself because how can a 15-year-old?
Bro, but I'm just saying.
I'm just saying, even at that age, sis, at 15, I wanted some. Actually, at 15, I was liking older women. I liked the one with the zoom, and the boom, boom.
I like the older guys too. I didn't like I did date.
But it was a difference though. So anybody that was at least, honestly, if you were more than 8 to 10 years older than me, I couldn't. After that, I could know because you a little bit because you're like my older brothers in them ages. I can't. That's their girlfriend. They'll be looking at me side eye.
16 and you met a girl who was 25 or 26. I mean, it's the same thing.
Been there, done that. But I ain't gonna say no names.
Supposed to be having sex with no grown ass woman, and
you been there, done that. I ain't gonna say no names.
Gonna go to jail. She's gonna go to jail. Why? Because that's where the responsibility lies.
But they ain't in jail. If that was the case, then I wasn't gonna press no charges. Fuck that.
And see, I've been with a older guy too, and I didn't press no charge.
I'm just saying. I mean, that's
to leave me alone when she found out.
Hey.
See, so now, who's to blame? I could be the one to blame because I knew he was too old. My mother could be the one to blame because she just said, "Look, stay the fuck away from my daughter." And one thing about it, she didn't have hardcore proof.
They knew they were
I lied. Other people were saying we was together, but I lied. So she didn't have hardcore proof, but she knew that we liked each other. So she's like, I'm nipped this right in the bud. But if anybody was to get in trouble, like for real, it would be him.
I told my father everything, so I guess.
But shit, I was a sneaky little shit.
Yeah, everybody. We were all with some heathens.
Everybody had no shit. I didn't have shit. From family to friends.
I know I was a heathen. No, I had to keep a lot of shit to myself.
We all did most of the same shit.
I couldn't. Then most of the old ladies
here and there who might have been a little nerdy. Like
most, I ain't gonna say 100, but I'll say about 90. I'll say 98.5% of the old nigga, you ain't. If you was with that, that's because I didn't have no knowledge of it, and it had to be after me or long, and it wasn't long too before me because we was all in damn near elementary by then. So you got
it was hard not to get in shit from where I was from. It was hard.
I don't do no sharing ain't caring.
Doing some fuck shit. When we was growing up, you just walk out the door. Where y'all going? We going over here to do this. Okay. I mean, it was like
shit.
Everybody was always on some fun shit. Not saying that we was just horrible kids.
Y'all was
we just got into shit. And then you know what do they call those kids? Those turnkey kids? Where you come home with your parents, latchkey kids, you come home, your parents gone. Of course they be like,
what was the name of them damn kids that went to that one school?
Lock the door.
But see, I couldn't have done shit in my neighborhood because literally the block I lived on, when I lived on 37th Street growing up, directly across the street from me was 2 aunts. They were sisters. And then next door to the one aunt was her daughter. Up the street was her son. And then my daddy grew up with 5 or 6 people on the block too.
37
so I grew up between Sprague and Spalding, right down the street from
And I
North.
grew up around my family too, and we was all in some shit. So I mean, like I said, there's always one. But I grew up where I grew up. It was just a lot of people just doing all kind of shit. I mean,
And see, my uncle, he was a big ass West Indian
selling
dude.
cars,
Uncle
selling
Leon was like
drugs.
6'9",
I mean,
300 pounds, big ass dude. And he was our neighborhood watch. He would either sit on the porch or in his truck. And big
oh,
dark
we had
skin
the
dude.
signs. We had the
And
neighborhood watch signs, but
he
shit.
no, he wasn't no official neighborhood watch, but he would sit out there and you wouldn't know he was out there unless he lit a cigarette or said something to you.
He was smoking a cigarette.
See, y'all stayed in a really nice part of the hood.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you know what? Maybe she is right.
A really
Because
nice
I think
but where I stayed, shit.